Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
How to earn trust in your industry, even if you're just starting, and ways to gain social proof. Now, I don't know if you are like anybody else, but I know that people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. And this goes on to the services that they buy, what they do with the products, etc., etc. People are always talking about a brand or products that actually make them happy. And this is how most of us get to learn about new products and new services. Now, how do you then get people to talk about you maybe at a barbecue? And also, how do you then showcase that people are already loving that product or service that you're putting out there? Now, as a coach or consultant, it's very difficult, first of all, maybe for us to get testimonials, because some of the work that we do for people is of a private nature. Okay, so let's say you are a coach that helps people maybe lose weight or helps people with their mindset and things like that. Some people don't want to discuss those things, with their loved ones, just in case they don't want to be judged. So how do you then earn people's trust without as much as social proof or words of mouth, so to speak, or word of mouth, so that people can really rally behind your product? Now, let's look at the science of these first before we get around to discussing ideas and methods of gathering this social proof and earning trust. First of all, people, like I said, buy from those that they know, like, and trust. And there's certain types of people, like experts, celebrities, and our friends, who we think are more knowledgeable about what's going on, that we just give automatic trust to. Okay, it is said that we actually think anything that experts use is usually a great product, because they're probably more knowledgeable than us in an area of specialization. And it is also said that we buy products that are endorsed by celebrities just because we want to look like them. And this is why there's a whole phenomenon on Instagram where people are just following influencers or beautiful models just because they want to look like them, and they end up using the products that they recommend, even if those influencers are not using those products themselves. And the people that I'm working with lately are coaches or consultants that are maybe getting into new industries, that are getting into new, ventures, just simply because they have chosen this way of life and they don't yet have social proof yet, And I hear this all the time, when we're writing copy for our coaches and consultants or small businesses out there, or even some established businesses who haven't maybe thought about collecting feedback from customers that they've worked with. They lack what is called third-party proof, and it's actually a problem that's way more common than you'd want to think. Okay, that's because few things are more effective, for you to improve conversion rates than being able to actually show proof that other people love what it is that you're selling, or there's reviews of clients that have actually gotten results, and you've been featured in third-party media, which then validates that your product actually works. So this is kind of the outside proof that actually lends you immediate credibility, because people, like I said, want to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And whatever you claim, or whatever you have people speaking on your behalf, gives your prospective clients a chance to hear, especially from other people that have actually gotten a result from what it is that you are you're selling there. So what do you do if you've got none of those things but still want customers to trust you? So in this podcast, I'm going to explore 4 things that you can actually do. First of all, to make a connection with your prospects to get them to trust you, even if you can't show them any social proof as yet. And I'll also show you maybe real examples and give you a walkthrough of what we've done to help our clients implement, because we are working solely with people that are really trying to make sense of the world around them and help the customers solve the solutions around them. So not a lot of people are just going to trust you just because you say you are a coach. No, not a lot of people are going to trust you just because you say you're a consultant. So through our marketing agency, Live Long Digital, which I really encourage you to subscribe to, livelongdigital.com.au, I find a lot of business websites or a lot of business social media that are not actually leveraging the power of testimonials on their website. And I feel like that's a really big missed opportunity for them. One of the first things that I advise my new clients is just really gathering social proof, so that they can place it on their website. All right. The reasons why this is important is because testimonials actually add credibility to the products or services that you're offering, and people tend to trust online reviews when they're making purchases because no one wants to make a mistake. That's a human, scenario where nobody wants to make a mistake. So they want to at least hear from somebody who has been happy or has been successful just simply based on the product or service that you are selling there. And one other thing that is a lot of people are oblivious to is social proof actually earns better SEO, and it adds more favorable language surrounding your brand online. The thing about social proof is Google wants to send traffic to businesses that are credible. So the only way they can realize that a business is credible is by having real life human beings, testifying and vouching for your business to say, yes, I have arrived at this place. Yes, I've gone to this place and I've actually gotten my money's worth. Google doesn't want to be held accountable, for shoddy deals that are happening, or simply if somebody gets hurt or somebody gets, robbed or something of that nature, and not have a favorable experience. So if you've got social proof and you put it on your website, Google would absolutely drive traffic to your site. And also when you're sourcing opinions from maybe a client base and you show that you actually care about the experience that other people have had, it strengthens the relationship that you will have with your clients. So, sometimes maybe you could be at a position where you're just starting out and you haven't started to get as much of this social proof, okay? I really want you to start doing a few things in order for you to get in front of an audience and share, your experiences and maybe your processes in a way that will give people the satisfaction or the confidence to actually choose you to work with you. But I want you to note, and this is very important, none of these are replacements for social proof. This is what you can do in between the time you're waiting for when you actually have real life customers that can vouch for you. So you should always be trying to collect as much testimonials and proof as possible on an ongoing basis, okay? And the best time for you to collect, a testimonial is when you've actually gotten, a client to say, hey, thank you so much for this. This has helped me with X, Y, and Z. Try and capture all of those moments, because each and every time that a client says thank you so much is also validation for us, so that we don't, we continuously give that service out there, okay? However, the approaches that I'm going to give you will also help put customers in a buying mindset, because when you utilize social proof, you start to speak the language of the prospect or the customer, and then they actually know that it is not just you, tooting your own horn, but there's other people that can stand behind your brand, and you can even couple them with social proof that you then get from your real life customers. Okay, so the first thing that you can actually do to show people or become credible before you have testimonials is to show people your process. Okay, if you want to show leads that you're credible, explain how you do things and what they can expect when working with you. If you don't yet have testimonials, show people how you get them from A, where they are right now, to B, where they want to be. Because if people assume that you've got a solution, or you've got an answer to their problems, then they would assume that you know how to get them that solution for them. So just step back for a moment and think about how many times you've probably gotten emails from people maybe wondering, so tell me, what are the next steps? Where or how can we get what do we need to do, or what's the best way to work with you? So usually these are not like polite formalities. Customers are just worried about how to engage with you, and this worry can actually keep them from moving forward. When you show customers your process, you first of all accomplish three things. One, you show them how you work through their problems, and then you make their new experience predictable because no one wants to make a mistake. And then the last thing is you give them a point of reference. If you haven't got testimonials as yet, what you give people by showing them your process is at least they can then say, oh, I can see why this might work for my business, or I can see why this might not work. So as consultants and coaches, we think that holding back information and how we actually get our results for our clients is sort of holding our IP or intellectual property, but it's actually shooting ourselves in the foot, because if customers don't understand how you're going to help them get results, they are not going to have a reference point at which to make a buying decision from. So let me go to the first thing that I mentioned, that you show them how you think through problems that they might be facing. Okay, because let's get it right, each customer that we come across always thinks their situation and their problem is unique, and that no one has an answer if they haven't figured it out yet. Okay, so it's not enough for you to claim that you're good at what you do, or tell your clients that you've got a robust process or meticulous process. You need to back up your claim by laying it out for them. Okay, we have a 4-step process in which we help people navigate the online space, and we really take them from identifying their client to clarifying their message and then determining the media they're going to reach out to. And then pretty much from there, we show them how we create the lead capturing funnel and how we lay out the nurturing system with emails and social media posts, and then how we then convert those customers into paying clients that pay, stay, and refer. So even if somebody has never heard of me or has never quite seen the results that we offer and thinks that their process is unique, our 4-step process that we take them through really is an educational process that we show them. And even if they don't end up working with us, they at least leave that call educated and knowing a lot more and knowing what to ask pretty much after that. Okay, so when a customer can see the way you approach problems like this, then they take comfort in knowing that you actually understand where they're coming from, what they need, and most importantly, how you then deliver results that they are after. Because if they don't have that confidence, then there's no way that they're going to go to the next step of actually buying from you. Okay, and when you do that, you actually make a new experience for them predictable. Because people don't want to be, in the dark, all right? As in, oh, okay, we've just given these people our money. We don't know what's next. We don't know what to expect. We don't know what the process looks like, all those things. So for brand new people that haven't experienced your work or something like that, and who have never tried a service like yours, there's a lot of fear and a lot of trepidation surrounding what might happen next. Have you ever noticed that half of the time when somebody buys something, they start experience what's called buyer's remorse? So that's what our customers experience as well, because they don't know what's going to happen next. They've just given you money, and now all they're hearing is crickets. They don't know, are they going to get a surprise call? Do they need to be in front of their computer, for them to receive an email from you to know what the next steps are? Or do they need to have certain things prepared, so that they can engage with you? How do you charge? All of those things. Are they at the right point of contact with you? Do they have your number? All of those things might be worrying them. So all you do is create a thank you page that calms their nerves, all right? These people don't know you yet. They don't trust you. They don't even like you. But if you give them a thank you page with either a video, which then tells them what the next step is, and then, it sets their expectation on what to expect and what the communication structure is going to be, all of those things will actually help people certify in their heads that they actually made the right decision. So by showing customers maybe the step-by-step way of how you actually plan to work with them, they can actually leave through the experience mentally before they commit to making a less scary commitment with you. Let's face it, half of the programs that we sell are mortgage type programs. Maybe you're selling a $25,000 deal there, or maybe you're selling a $30,000 product or service, or a $50,000 service, like one of our marketing services that we take people throughout a whole 12-month program. You know what I mean? So people actually have to go maybe into finance, or have to put that on their credit card, or have to maybe forgo some of the luxuries that they would have done. One of the projects, if you really look at it, $50,000 can actually buy you a car. So they would rather have the car in the garage than have money just sitting somewhere in the internet, and they're looking outside, at a cloud, hoping one of those clouds is what is containing their money. So you want to make sure that people have a frame of reference based on what it is that you're going to be offering them and how it's going to make their lives better. Okay. So when you give them a point of reference, you see, you're giving them something to compare with. All right. And that actually then gives you the credibility for them to not worry or sleep with one eye open, just wondering if they've been duped or not. So if a customer is maybe shopping for price or comparison shopping, and don't kid yourself, people are always shopping for price. When you show your process, it just gives them a little bit more information about you than what your competitors are doing out there. And that slight edge might actually be enough to tilt things in your favor, because nobody wants to make a mistake. All right. People buy from Telstra, or people buy from Optus, or a well-known telephone brand. You know why? Because that brand has been there ever since their grandparents have been, and it has never failed them. So no one gets fired from buying already proven products. But you and I, we are brand new, all right? We're really trying to crack the market. We may have identified our target market. We may have clarified our message, but nobody knows who we are, all right? So you really want, because everybody will be shopping for price. And if you give enough information for them to make a concrete decision, then they're comparing apples with apples, and they've got a reference point. And here's a bonus tip. If you're a service business, all right, you're a lawyer, you're a coach, you're a consultant, show examples of the deliverables they can expect to receive at every step of the process. And once again, this actually helps them assess the quality of your work without having to hire you first. Okay? So, we've worked with a lot of experiences with people, and it's very hard for anyone to trust you just because you showed up in their newsfeed. Okay? So you're going to need a ton of social proof. All right, you're gonna need a ton of reference point, which educates people and actually makes it easy for people to want to do business with you. And if you show people your process, all right, how you work collaboratively, with them and who needs to engage from their side, and you outline, what your vision is, and you define your objectives, and you've actually studied your audience, and you've analyzed your toughest competitors and find opportunities that you can capitalize on. People will know that you've done your homework, and that calms their nerves. All right. So at the end of the day, all you want to do is just show people what the process is, and then show them what they're going to be engaging in. Because when somebody knows the price they're going to pay, the engagement would not be a lot difficult for them. And once you've done that, okay, you start to mirror what their beliefs are already around the product that you're doing. This automatically creates rapport and get somebody to earn your trust. All right, or you earning their whoever is earning trust in the process there. Thank you so much for tuning into the Online Prosperity podcast, where we have fun but we're learning in the process. Okay, so psychology has shown us that there's two very important things for people. We buy from those that we like, and we like people who believe the same things as we do. Just look around you right now. Politics, religion, society, we're being made to choose either this side or that side. Just look at it right now. Stop and just think of what's happening in the news right now. You are being made to choose this side or that side. These are the bad guys. These are the good guys. You got to like these guys. You got to hate these guys. Okay? So you start then looking in your social media there, who also has the same beliefs as me, and then they become a kindred person. All right, because birds of a feather flock together. All right, so if you want to get into a prospect's good books, then you want to mirror their beliefs back to them, and you want to create a favorable environment where you help them throw rocks at their enemy. But what's important here is how you frame it. You don't want to go out there and be overly political or overly religious or overly socially correct or politically correct. I mean, it's not enough to say yes, our values, and just spout off whatever generic list of things that you maybe care about, like quality, speed, efficiency, etc. You need to mimic the language of the customers and be specific about the things you stand behind. Okay, what if you don't stand for anything, you can fall for whatever, and people really know where you draw the line in society. So it's also better for you to attribute the beliefs back to the user, using them as an example instead of we. All right, like we have a few going on, and on our website, that you will love working with us if you appreciate that deadlines aren't suggestions, if you believe clean code or clean social media is never optional, if you think budget friendly shouldn't feel cheap, if you want a website that works as hard as you do. So what you then do is you are helping them understand themselves first, and then self-qualify if they can work with you, which puts you in a more better position, because now the prospect is the one who actually has to prove to you that they are this kind of person. So that's like reverse engineering the whole process, and in the process you earn credibility because of that. So we use the above for maybe digital agencies. We use the above for social media consultants who are excellent at what they do, but are maybe relatively new to the scene. Okay, and maybe they've got maybe a few case studies here and there, but they just need a little more time with customers to get full testimonials, because it does take maybe 3 to 9 months for you to actually get a result for somebody, in social media or in digital marketing. But in the process, you can use things like this to actually, gain that credibility and that confidence and social proof that at least you know what it is that you're talking about. Okay? And notice that the way we have put this across is very clear, simple statements that make somebody say yes or no. All right? You don't want, open-ended questions which somebody then decides, this is too much work for me to do. You just want them to say, oh, yes, I'm that person. Yes, I'm that person. And then it actually then creates credibility and social proof that at least you know them and you can actually help them by actually helping them. All right. So it actually has the person who's reading this, go through just ticking those in their mental boxes, and you get them nodding in agreement. And once somebody has already said yes to something, they're going to say yes to buying from you. And it's just giving them little nods and little yeses along the way to the actual big yes. All right. And if they say, yes, I believe in those things, you know what I mean? You now share common goals. You now have the same enemies and you now have the same beliefs. All right. So at the end of the day, once you have that social proof and you've collected testimonials from the people, it actually helps you stand out and makes you a credible provider out there than somebody else who's just saying, me too, me too. And like I said, if you want to add credibility, keep working towards getting those testimonials of the products and services that you are giving out there so that people would rally behind what it is that you're offering. And even if you don't have, social proof yet, just make people a promise. You've probably heard, the start of this podcast that we've helped, a lot of people. And that's my promise to you. If you show up to our website, I will definitely help you make sense of the online space. And you've probably heard, someone from an older generation talking about the good old days, where maybe a handshake was a promise and men were only as good as their word. But when it comes to building trust online, that also is still very, very true. All right. Even if a customer doesn't know you yet from a bar of soap, they are still likely to take a guarantee or promise very, very seriously because they know that, there are implications if you fail to deliver. And this is one of the few places in copywriting where I really don't mind using we, because it's putting something on the line instead of yammering just about yourself. All right. So even though you can promise a lot of people, just avoid hyperbole. Okay. Don't make wild sounding or generic promises like best experience ever. This is an exaggeration that actually destroys trust on arrival. So, that the trust you want people to build naturally, not when they're reading your stuff, they already have their BS detectors off like crazy. And you want to be very specific about what it is that you are guaranteeing and making sure that it's attainable and it's deliberate. That promise is something that you can prove, and that's something that people can say, you know what? Yeah, I can see that happening. And make sure that it is actually tied to a pain point that the customer actually cares about. All right? So if you offer your guarantee that you're going to give people a tailored strategy, assess their goals. Look at who their audience and objectives are. Build a customized strategy for them to get the best results for what they need for the kind of budget that they have. And make sure that people never pay for a service that they don't actually need. And last but not least, one way for you to actually show credibility before you have it, just show your face. All right? Show your face. Chances are good that if a business owner is willing to put their face on their website, then they're also willing to stand behind the service that they are providing. All right. This one can maybe get a little bit tricky. Like it or not, you might then see stuff that I've done modeling or whatever it is. And then you think, it's biased on people that are handsome or beautiful. But no. It doesn't matter what it is. There can also be maybe racial bias. Dude, I'm black. There could be prejudice. Have you seen my teeth? And there could be low quality professional photos. Well, I show up on my photos. But half of the time you just want to show your face, because if you can show your face, it means that you're willing to stand behind whatever it is that you are putting out there. You know, knowing all that, showing your face in the faces of your team members as well is also a way that gives your prospects maybe an anchor point that actually tells them, look, there's real people behind this business. If there's anything that is going on, you can pick up the phone and call Sally. You can pick up the phone and call Gary. You know, in niches like digital marketing where distrust runs rampant, this can be a difference maker. If you go on any of my websites, just go on my website, www.livelongdigital.com.au, and you will notice that I've got my face plastered on there. The reason being, I want people to actually trust me. I want people to actually know who they're dealing with. And if anything goes wrong, they can pick up the phone and speak to Prosper. So maybe you don't have social proof. And you don't need to wait until you have it. You can use some of these things that I mentioned, on your way to getting social proof. You can, stress out what your process is. You can give people, exact steps of how to work with you. You can give them a reference point. And once you've gotten all of those things, show your face and really stand behind the guarantees that you are giving to people. And at the end of the day, people will get to know, like, and trust you. And even if you're new in business, or you just don't have, done much work, just give these tactics a go. And, always test the impact of it. And whenever you can get social proof, do so, all right? And make sure that you are actually helping people and showing your face out there so that people can get to know, like, and trust you. And as you know, people do business with those they know, like, and trust. I can't wait to see you out there and doing the best in order for you to solve problems for your prospective clients and your clients. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au